There are over 500 different cultures across the globe that have a great flood myth. From the jungles of the Amazon to the mountains of India to the deserts of Mesopotamia. They didn't have phones, they didn't have internet, yet they all remember the same exact apocalypse. My name is Justin, this is Lights Over Loveland, and welcome to the finale of our Forbidden History series that we've been working on. We've been covering the Book of Enoch, and in our last part we just talked about the flood, the cleanup operation that was used to wipe out the genetic monsters, the Nephilim, that were created through the hybridization programs that the Watchers did with human women down here on planet Earth. So if you've been enjoying these deep dives and you want to have some more conversations about these topics, check out my Discord or hit up my Patreon. Over on the Discord, we can keep this conversation going, getting into some more of the details of the Book of Enoch and what it may mean in this phenomenon. And I please ask yet again to look at this all as just a document, keep an open mind, and, I'm taking the parts of this that I think make sense and resonate with me, and the other parts, it's just information that I have in the back of my mind that I can pull from in case I get some more information that ties everything all together. But you don't want to just throw out the baby with the bathwater and say the whole thing doesn't matter, because there could be little nuggets in any of these stories, these different religions, these different tales that have been told throughout cultures and history that all tie in together and give you just a small glimpse into maybe the big picture of what's really going on. We just finished talking about the Nephilim, the genetic monsters created by the Watchers, and we established that the flood was the cleanup operation. But here's the thing. If this was just the story in one book, then we could ignore it. But it's not. Today, we leave the Book of Enoch and we look at the hard evidence, mythological and geological, that proves the hard reset of planet Earth actually happened. The investigation starts in Mesopotamia. We found tablets here that are older than the Bible by over 1,000 years. The most famous one is the Epic of Gilgamesh. It features a man named Yanapushtim. He is warned by a god, Enki, to build a massive boat because a flood is coming to wipe out humanity. The dimensions, the animals, the birds he sends out at the end, it's the same exact story. But the Atrahasis epic adds a detail that Enoch would agree with. It says the gods triggered the flood because humanity was making too much noise. Now, don't think of noise as loud music. In information theory, noise is entropy. It's signal interference. The Watchers had introduced so much chaotic information. The genetic modifications, the weapons, the forbidden technology, that signal of humanity was lost. The system was glitching. The architects didn't destroy the world because they were annoyed. They destroyed it because the code was broken. They had to pull the plug to try to save the hardware. If you think that's a coincidence, let's go globally. Statistically, this should not be happening. In India, the Matsya Purana, a king is warned by a fish avatar to build a boat to save the seeds of life. In Greece, Deucalion survives a flood sent by Zeus to purge the wicked Bronze Age civilization. But the smoking gun is in South America. The Inca say the god Viracocha sent a flood specifically to destroy a race of giants. There it is again. The Incas didn't read the Book of Enoch. They didn't know Hebrew, but they have the same exact memory. The flood was sent to kill the giants. This confirms the biological cleanup operation we discussed in part 3. The water was used as a weapon to wipe out an invasive species. The fact that cultures separated by oceans remember the exact same motives is impossible unless it actually happened. This leads us to the biggest what if in history. Plato's Atlantis. Plato describes a technologically advanced civilization that lived 9,000 years before his time. He says they became arrogant and morally bankrupt, and in a single day and night of misfortune, they were swallowed up by the sea. Many researchers now believe that Atlantis wasn't a fairy tale. It was a part of the Antediluvian world, which was the pre-flood world. The world that the Watchers built. This aligns with the forbidden download from part 2. Humanity had high-tech knowledge, metallurgy, astronomy, engineering, all given to them by the Watchers. The flood didn't just kill the giants, it wiped out the first technological era. We are a civilization with amnesia, living in the ruins of a world that was washed away. When we find impossible megaliths, we aren't looking at aliens. We're looking at us before the reset. So, can science explain how you flood a planet? Actually, yes. It's called the Younger Dryas Impact Theory. About 12,800 years ago, Earth was coming out of an ice age. Giant ice sheets covered North America and Europe. The theory suggests that a fragmented comet or a solar plasma outburst struck the North American ice sheet. This would have instantly vaporized millions of tons of ice. It would have caused global sea levels to rise by hundreds of feet in a matter of weeks, accompanied by massive rainstorms caused by the atmospheric vapor. This fits the timeline perfectly. A sudden cataclysmic rise in sea levels that wiped out coastal civilizations and megafauna. It wasn't magic. It was a cosmic impact that reset the board. The gods, or the universe, threw a rock at us. The flood was real. The trauma it etched into our geology and our mythology. It was the end of the Watchers' open rule on Earth. This 4-part series was an attempt to show you that this UFO phenomenon isn't new. Just look at the Watchers. First, they came down. Contact. Second, they taught us tech, or they gave us a download. Third, they made hybrids, the Nephilim. And 4, the system crashed, the flood. The Watchers are gone, but the phenomenon remains. The question is, are we approaching the end of another cycle? Thank you for going on this journey with me. If you learned something new, please hit that like and subscribe button. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, and every single one of you, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and helping me on this journey. For anyone out there that's feeling really stressed, overwhelmed, and just wants to know what's going on, you have to be okay with knowing that no one out there has probably the answer of the whole picture. I know when I first got into this topic, I was like, okay, this needs to happen now. Like, I need to know this information right now. The world needs to change. But the longer that you start researching into this, you realize that this is something that is going to unfold in the way it's meant to unfold. And I think that's something with disclosure as well. We are not in control of what happens. You can only worry about what you can in your daily life. And something you can do is you can take the time, research this information, and find some knowledge for yourself. Stop waiting for the government or someone else to tell you that this thing is real and it's out there. Take the time, do some research, and you'll start to see that there is a mountain of evidence that there is something there. Now, I don't claim to know what it is, and anybody who does claim to know for sure they know what it is, they're lying. They don't know. No one knows what's going on. We're all trying to figure it out. And the biggest thing is we should all be working together to try to figure out what's going on. We could get so much more data if we had the entire planet working together to figure out what is this phenomenon, where is it coming from, where is it going, how is it coming into these different places that is being seen, how is it leaving, like different colors, shapes, different emotions people experience, there's so much to this phenomenon. And it's so much more than just, is it real? I'm so far past the point of, is it real, that's why I'm doing the videos I'm doing now. I know it's real. And you can just go check out my video, The Phenomenon, with some of my best footage I've ever recorded. And if that is not enough to convince you that something unexplainable is going on, then nothing will. In the day and age of AI and deep fakes and just not being able to believe what you see, I'm trying to bring you the information and knowledge so you can build your own picture of the phenomenon and what it is to you. Because ultimately, I think it all comes down to each individual to internalize and have that curiosity and desire to want to know what's going on, want to know some of these answers to these bigger questions and mysteries in life, such as, what are we doing here? Where did we come from? And personally, when I dive into the phenomenon, looking through these ancient cultures and religions, it kind of points me to the point that maybe they had a hand in getting us to where we are now. Something I do want to say, for anyone out there feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and just is freaking out, this is something that I believe has been here a very long time. And if you just listen to any of the experiencers, they all come to a point eventually of, it's all love, it's all that we're in this together, it's all that we're doing harm to the planet. We should be working together to create a better life for all of us here on this planet, and not even just the humans, the animals, the plants, everything that's living on this planet. We can make it a better place for everything. We have that power. But we have to awaken to the fact that we have that power. People are so stuck in their daily routines and daily life that they don't think about these things. They just think about making their money to pay their bills to survive. Or you have the other way too, where they're making so much money that all they care about is their greed and their possessions. But if you just listen to the ancient teachings, treat each other how you want to be treated. God is within you, and you don't need anything else outside of you. So no matter how many material possessions you gain, no matter how much money you obtain, it's never going to fill that void of happiness that people are searching for in their life. And you listen to a bunch of successful people who have made it to the top and had everything they had, and they realized that they still didn't have happiness. They end up finding happiness usually within or by helping others, by giving back. But enough of that. If you want to check out my Discord, check out my Patreon or my merch store, all the links are down below. And thank you so much for being here and supporting me on this journey. And stay tuned, because next Friday we are shifting gears completely, and we are going to be deep diving into the spirituality of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, and there are so many teachings and things throughout the game that I think are relevant to everything that's going on with this channel. So stay tuned for one video that I'm very excited to get into and bring to all of you. Until next time, may your day be filled with love and light.